collision with purpose, in pursuit of purpose.
Greetings, friends of the A Collision with Purpose movement. Welcome to Bridging Generations, Voices of Men in a Changing World. I'm Dr. Laxley Stephenson. This groundbreaking podcast delves into the multifaceted experiences of men across different generations in an area where societal norms and expectations rapidly evolve. This show offers young and older men a unique platform to voice their challenges, triumphs, and perspectives.
Foster, one of your co-hosts. Each of these episodes bridge the gap between generations, exploring themes ranging from masculinity and mental health to career dynamics and social development.
I'm Xavier Wilcox, also a co-host. By bringing together voices from varied age groups, the show sheds light on the commonalities and differences in the male experience, encouraging open dialogue and mutual learning.
So whether it's a teenager grappling with the pressures of social media or a senior reflecting on the changing definitions of manhood, Bridging Generations is committed to uncovering the real stories of men navigating the complexities of a changing world. I'm Juan Marcel, one of your co-hosts and moderators for this wonderful show. Doc, what is going on?
Man, what is going on? You know, we had a break last week. We did a replay of that very first episode, and that was an awesome episode to replay, right? It was that was a groundbreaking.
Yes.
So we did a replay on that last week. Yeah, Augusta, check your vocals.
My little clear now.
And much better. But I tell you what, something big is happening, and we're going to bring on our CFO, the Collision with Purpose, our co-host on in the spotlight, and she's going to make a major announcement. So let's bring her on stage. Let's give her a drum roll.
Donna.
And there she is.
Hi. How's everyone doing?
Great.
Doing well.
Magnanimous.
Blessed and highly favored, as the old folk would say.
Hey,
Yes.
there you go. Awesome. I
Come on,
love
church.
it. I love it. Speaking that positive affirmations. Hey.
Amen, man. Y'all got me saying amen. Are we in church? Are we in church?
Amen. Amen, Bishop. Amen, Bishop.
But Donna, you have something you want to share with our viewers, and we should welcome them, right? Welcome our viewers. You know, you're watching Bridging Generations, Voices of Men. Share the link, share the link, share the live. Get the word out. We have a powerful show lined up for you tonight. We have an amazing special guest. He'll be coming on later. And we have our superstar, Donna T, who's going to talk to us now. Talk to us, Donna.
Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, I will say that it is always a pleasure to be in the company of you awesome men, right? You pour so much out and I get so much information and knowledge from you guys, and I'm totally blessed and appreciate it. So with that, we will be having a new like an extended part of a collision with purpose, but it will be called Today with Donna. And
I love it. I love it.
Today with Donna. Let's say it the right way. Today with Donna.
Donna.
I'm with it. I'm with it. Sign me up for some Donna days. I'm with it.
All right. Hey, awesome.
Sign me up.
Not yesterday, but today.
Not yesterday, but today, right? Yes.
Right.
Today. And basically, just we're going to be basically looking at, where we are. How did we get here in our life? Where we are, where you are currently in your life. And how did you get here? And it's just having conversations with everyday individuals. It could be a mechanic. It could be a doctor. It could be someone who's homeless, right? It could be someone who's homeless. Someone who's doing just various different aspects of your life. But just having conversations with people about their journey, right? Their journey and how they got to where they are in their current space and current time. And once again, of course, it's always going to be unfiltered conversations that we're having, and hoping that it will empower other people and change other people's perspective on life, even the people who we're having conversations with, kind of like get an insight about what everyday people, what they're going through. And I think for me, it was important to do something like this because if anyone knows me, I am very passionate about individuals who don't have, the homeless, people who can't feed themselves, who can't feed their families. And I see so much of that happening. And I'm seeing more and more where you have individuals who are living in their cars with their families, individuals who are living on the side of the road. And these are grown people. These are adults. So it's like, what happened in your life to get you to this point, to this place, and how can you probably, maybe a word of encouragement, I don't know, something, resources or something to probably help people to get back on their feet, right? And, even people who are in careers, like I've had conversations with individuals as well who they're in careers and they hate it. It's not their passion.
Yeah.
But because of family expectations and things of that nature, they had to do it. They had to go through that path. But then here they are as a grown person and they totally hate it. Like, what was your journey? What happened to you along that way? So kind of like, conversations like that. But it's going to be like, like I said, Today with Donna, where we're just having conversations. So it could be anything. I could be in the park. I could be in Jamaica.
That's what
I could be in Africa.
So just providing them with a platform to share their story.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
And for us to learn from their stories.
Yes.
Yeah. Just equally as important. How did you get to where you are in your life? What happened? What transpired? Yeah, and so powerful show. Looking forward to that. That's gonna start at the beginning of we're in what, April, May. Donna is gonna kick it off. Beginning of May. You'll just listen for more information. More information is coming. You'll get more details. There's a video that will be released soon, and we're inviting anyone out there who wants to share their story to get in touch with Donna, myself, so we can get you lined up for one of those type of interviews that Donna will be doing. Some of them will be live, by the way.
Yes.
Some of them will be live. We're gonna go live with it. We're gonna go live.
Waits in the journey in Jamaica.
Make it shall be.
That's because I'll be in Jamaica this month. As a matter of, well, in May. As a matter of fact, I'll be in Jamaica.
I can fit in the carry-on.
I'm from Jamaica.
So it's a big piece of what we're doing here at the Collision with Purpose, and we're just so grateful and thankful that we have Donna on the team as our CFO, as the producer of this show here, Bridging Generations, and the moderator, co-moderator of In the Spotlight, and now the host of Today with Donna. How did you get here? Right? So don't be surprised, guys, if you're one of the first interviews. And how did you get here? and that will be aired on Facebook, Instagram, or brand new YouTube channel. What's the name of your YouTube channel?
Today with Donna.
What's the name of your Facebook page?
Let me go like and subscribe.
What's the name of your Facebook page?
Oh, Today with Donna.
What's the name of your every page? Today with Donna. Exactly. So let's get out there, subscribe, like, and so you can be first to receive this new hot piece. This program, Today with Donna. Right?
Today with Donna.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. So I had to bring Donna on. We're gonna jump back into our business here. So Donna, thank you so much for sharing that. And get in line, because this is going to be so hot. Get in line. Get your
You're welcome, and thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Looking forward to it.
Don't be surprised if you're not back on. Don't be surprised.
Don't go too far. Don't go too far.
Don't go too far. Don't go too far. All right. Appreciate it, Donna. Appreciate it so much. And let's get that information out there. And Today with Donna, it's going to be a big deal. Big deal. All right, gentlemen, what's happening in the news?
Man, I almost want to piggyback off of what Donna was talking about. Today is Thursday. Monday, she was speaking on homelessness and people who don't have and wanting to seek to people, specifically those who were unhoused. And I know on Monday the Supreme Court overlooked a bill to basically decide whether or not starting the process to decide whether or not if somebody who is unhoused and goes and builds an encampment, police and local law enforcement tearing those down, does that count as a form of cruel and unusual punishment? Because these people are already, the lack of services that are available now. If you coming in and tearing down what in essence is their home, where is their place of peace, where they are comfortable, where they are safe, is that cruel and unusual? And I'm new here to Georgia. I've been here about 3 years, but I know in California, they just assigned an oversight committee because you have people who are taking the money where it should be going to the homeless, and there's no real checks and balances. And now here in Georgia, and throughout the South and other places, it's now reached all the way up to the highest courts in the United States of America. So I think Donna kind of led that off. And specifically if you're somebody who's in Georgia and you ride around Atlanta, you look under 285 and 85.
Yeah.
Atlanta has a issue, and I try not to call them the homeless. An associate of mine, Terrence, runs a nonprofit called Love Beyond Walls. And I've kind of leaned more into referring to it as those who are unhoused. And the unhoused issue in Atlanta, seeing it firsthand, going to work and other stuff, it's compared to people who are living in $500,000 homes and 2 blocks away, people not even living in cars, like under underpants. It's disgusting, and it's rough to see.
Yeah. It's interesting that we're talking about this. We were just having this conversation at work a couple of days ago. A coworker brought up how now Hartsfield-Jackson Airport,
yeah,
now you have to have a ticket to even come into the airport due to the issue with the unhoused gentleman who went in stabbing folks and
Yeah.
harmed some individuals in the airport. So now you have to have a ticket to even enter into. Of course, if you have, you've already put in there that you need some type of assistance or have special needs, you can be escorted. But other than that, you have to have a ticket.
Yeah.
So
Crazy. Crazy.
Wow. Things are happening, huh? Not so good.
That's so good.
So how do we insulate and protect ourselves? That's the question. Because while bad things are happening, things that are, remember now, we're about bridging generations, voices of men in a changing world. So we must cope, we must adapt, we must still work and get our work done, no matter what is happening around us, right? That's what we're about on this platform, and that is what we're teaching. That's what we're modeling. So how do we get around those type of curveballs they're throwing at us? They're not even straight balls, right? They're going all over the place, right? So how do we navigate those things is a real question.
I think through and Augusta's always touching on this, just community activism and just service. I'm the homeless liaison with the academy that I work at, and so I'm talking with parents and students weekly about just personal care items that their students need, and just making sure that they having to take them through the process so we can actually assist them with housing, and what that looks like and what forms they have to fill out, and just putting care packages together for their students, just to take home with them or just to use while they're at the academy. And this conversation, I've been in this role for going on a year now, and it's ongoing. I'm constantly getting emails like, "Hey, Mr. Smith or Mr. Juan, I saw the video you put out or the email. My students and I, some of them live out of a car, or they live with, family members or a friend, or in motels. So this is more common than we realize. And I just found out a couple of months ago that a lot of times people won't either classify themselves or be labeled as unhoused, displaced, or homeless because they are living with another individual who is providing the assistance, but they're still without a home, their own home. So there's criteria and everything to be able to identify.
That is so interesting, because in the book, A Collision with Purpose, In Pursuit of Purpose, someone in there said you can still live in a home and still be homeless.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that, what a place to find yourself. What a place to find yourself, right?
Yeah.
So what should we be doing then? We have to shore up ourselves, right? And we had a conversation, and we're going to bring Xavier into this conversation. We had a conversation, and we made a decision that 1 year from 2 weeks ago, there's going to be something significant happening in our lives, the four of us on this platform. And it won't be just noticeable to us, right? But to everyone who's observing us and seeing us, right? So Xavier, let's piggyback on that and talk to us about your piece, what you're going to be working on, how are we going to just look at Xavier and say, man, I just love what he's doing.
So I'm in the process of kind of getting towards leading a mentoring program. I'm trying to get being like a Juan and Augusta and Dr. Stephenson. I'm still young now, but can't rent a bus or anything. But I want to, within this year, I want to gear myself to where I feel like I'm a mentor. Now, I know some people look at me as a mentor, but I personally am like, why are you looking up at me? Like, if you knew what I just did 10 minutes ago, you wouldn't want to be my mentee or anything like that. But I want to get in a more comfortable state within myself, which kind of ties in with my my goal for the what's the word I'm looking for? My commitment. Yeah, that's the word. My commitment with focusing in on myself so that I can better understand why I do things that I do, why the teenage mind is like that, and where I was at the time, so I can better relate to mentees that are going to be around me, and just so I can knowingly give the advice that I want to give. and know that it's the right advice, and not lead myself down the wrong path or lead someone else down the path. Because being a mentor, you're literally the model for someone else's life. And if you are looked at as a mentor and you're not in the right state, or not saying I'm not in the right state or anything, but like if I'm not comfortable with being someone's model, how is that going to affect their life? And so I'm just been kind of battling with that, but I'm working on getting towards that and focusing with my commitment, getting, better self knowledge. I know my worth. I know my worth for sure, but knowing who I am and why I am who I am. But, yeah.
So, I have something for you, and we're going to get that to you. And maybe you already have it, but we have a book called Unearthing You, your guide to personal growth, right? And self-discovery. So we need to make sure we get that book to you. And I think you should make a serious commitment to go through it from top to bottom, from side to side, all of it. Not once, not 2 times, but many times. And I think that this particular guide will really assist you and serve us as well, because as you're growing, we're growing too, right? Because you're part of this thing, and your growth is going to contribute to our growth over here, right, gentlemen?
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So this is not a one-man walk or a one-man talk. We're in this together. All right, so we need to get that to you, Xavier, and we need to get you in it. And we're going to ask you questions. So it's not going to be. We're going to hold you accountable.
Okay.
Accountability is a big piece of what we do here on this platform. It's a big piece, right? And we just have a comment here that it requires a there you go. Awesome stuff. Maybe we need to get him on the program, Ryan, on the program.
Yeah, you gotta bring Ryan on. If I was, let Ryan know. I mean, I'm not Jamaican, man, but I know Ryan was running for office over there, and Ryan is a very solid brother. That would have been somebody who I would have casted my vote for, if I were living over there. But yeah, man, I know next time he runs for office, man, if you're watching this back in Jamaica, vote for my brother Ryan, man. Right, whatever he's running for office, he's a man of the people, and he's genuinely committed to wanting to see his country change, man. So vote for Ryan if you get a chance, man. Drop that ballot.
Congratulations, man. I wasn't aware. That's major. Congratulations, Ryan.
Awesome. So, Augusta, let's talk about not just your commitment, but what your life is going to be like today.
My thing that I really wanted to, it's continued service. And I know a lot of times I said, over the next year, what I really want is to see a definite structural change from when people see me and my family, and not just including, my fiance and my children, but all of my family. I kind of really want to put myself in a position to carry a mantle that I've seen in my family that's kind of been dropped, where a lot of us are distant. I see you often and hear you often, I think every weekend you do like a call with your cousins. And I was like, I said, that's amazing that after all of these years, y'all still have that bond and that camaraderie. And I think it's important that all of you have elected to carry that mantle of maintaining that relationship. And I've seen in my family, a lot of people who kind of the distance and the growth and people move. So I said, I really want to almost kind of pick up where I saw my aunt, who kind of, she wasn't necessarily the matriarch of the family, but she was the one who kept everyone together, those open contacts, planning of reunions. And it seems small, like a goal like that, it doesn't necessarily, or not small, but on par. But to me, because I know charity starts in the home, because I know the mentorship and the teaching and the growth, like it doesn't matter how much I do it outside if I can't do it and it's ineffective within my own family. So I wanted to carry that same service and that pride and that stick-to-itiveness to helping and building a community within the community in my own bloodline. Yeah. So, one of those things is we haven't, the long short of it, we haven't had a legitimate like family reunion in my family, which is odd because people are passing away. I remind my fiance all the time, I said, your family is very young. I'm like, obviously you have tons of relatives in like their 40s and 50s. I'm like, I have surviving great uncles and aunts that are in their late 90s. I grew up with all of my first cousins' children because they're all in their late 50s and early 60s. I was like, it's different. So I said, I want to be able to bring that camaraderie back and then pass that love and that service and that community and that family bond to the next generation.
All right. Bring it on, bring it on, bring it on. Build to the next generation, right? Juan, talk to me, talk to us, talk to our viewers.
Yeah, it's interesting what Xavier, all of us actually, but what Xavier touched on, that's actually what I've been working on for a couple of months now. Something I've been doing for years, but I sat down, I was like, you know what, it's time to take it, as a mentor of mine used to jokingly say, another further. So I think it's just time to just go a little further with this mentorship program and just really writing it out. As Augusta often says, writing the vision and making it plain. And so came up with a title. Of course, I'm with that whole you thing. Like my company is Improve You. It's always about you. And so this will be becoming you. So and the short of that will be you. So we've been working on a logo and just writing it out. So I'm just working on like just writing out what this is going to look like. Programs, thank you.
I like it, man.
I've been in the lab cooking it up, man. Just really thinking about like what I needed, what the target, audience is going to be is males, females, both ages and demographic, all those different things, just what it looks like, and just how to go after it, and what they will be benefiting from with this program. What are they getting? And it's more than just sitting around, us talking amongst each other, but when they come, I want to do basic life skills, hard skills, soft skills,
Right.
realize, if you look at statistics now, a lot of the employers are just kind of just upset because they're like, these kids are coming out not having any social skills or soft skills. They're introducing themselves, shaking hands, a lot of those things. So definitely want to create a program, a comprehensive program for youth and young adults. So a mentorship program, becoming you. So, and it's helping them figure out what their path looks like. I didn't have that, I knew what the conversation was about. You going to college, you going to the service, but it's taken years for me to actually just hone in on what my passions are, what I'm really called to do, through conversations now. But I wish I'd had these conversations when I was 12 or 15 and 18. Right. So definitely want to do more engagement and start having these conversations as early as possible with these youth and young adults.
Awesome. So before I say what my thing is and to build on what I said previously, from this platform here, nothing would please me more than to see some leaders, political, holding offices. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. I'm talking about Xavier becoming a congressman. I'm talking about Augusta. That's what I had in mind. I like what people are saying. However, the vision is a year from now, we need to be on that path where one, maybe a county commissioner somewhere, or moving up. That's the vision that I'm talking about.
I thought you were about to announce. I thought you were about to announce your running for president. I thought you were about to announce your run.
I can never be any more serious than I am right now. That's the vision. So next week when we come back, I want you all to be building on that type of vision. Remember, we had someone on and said not enough of us are running for office, looking at those possibilities. That's the vision. All right. So
absolutely.
So today I went to a private school, with my grandson. Not when my grandson was not there, but for placement in their kindergarten program. And on the way home, I got confirmation that my vision, Donna's vision, a collision with purposes vision to build a learning academy was so real, and it was confirmed. And that is what we're going to do. Real, physical building. We'll also have virtual programs as well.
Mhm.
But we're going to build it out right here in Atlanta.
It's awesome.
Awesome.
All right, we're going to build it out. That's what you will see coming from a collision with purpose, and everything that we're doing is aimed at that. Today with Donna, daily insights, building, bridging generations, voice of man, the interviews, the books, everything we're doing is aligned with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we're headed in the spotlight. So that's the piece that you will be seeing. And the good thing about it, there'll be a role in there for all of us. For this is not going to be a small thing. It's going to be big stuff. That's what you'll be seeing. So we'll be building up, and we'll talk a little bit more. You know, our guest, our special guest, he's in backstage, and we'll bring him on after the break. And you know, he's a the right person to share this idea with and to get his thoughts, because I'm sure there'll be a role for him to play as well with what we're going to be doing. So yeah, that's the vision. We need leaders. We need leaders from this group setting examples. We need people who are going to be running to be chairperson of this, that, to be congressman, whatever it is. But you need to show a whole different structure from what you normally do. It's great what we're doing. It's great to be mentors and all that good stuff. It's important. You're doing that already.
Right.
We need to lift it up and set examples. Set the examples. Be the change that you want to see. All right. So everything that everyone said is great, but we need to see Xavier be the next congressman. And why not? You can do it. I've been around many politicians, and I am not that impressed with what I'm saying. No, I'm right.
Hey, I can agree.
Yeah, I'm not impressed. But our mindset is what it's all about.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's fix that mindset. Let's get it there and know that you can do it and will do it. You just need to have the will and the courage to do it, and it's a done deal. Everything else will fall into place. All right. So, Donna, let's take us on break so we can come back and introduce our special guest. All right. We'll introduce our special guest, and Juan, you'll do us the honor, and then we'll bring him on with the drum. Okay.
A collision with purpose. In pursuit of purpose.
right. Welcome back. Welcome back. We're bridging generations, voices of men in a changing world. And we have a special guest coming on tonight, and we're just going to cut it up with him. First, he will come on, he'll share his story. But before we do that, we want to bring him on in grand style. So, Juan, can you do the honor of introducing our guest? And let's give him the drum roll, the bridging generations drum roll, okay?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So, to our guests and our audience, so we have the privilege and honor of talking with Mr. Robert Alexander. He is a retired IT professional. He's done a lot in project management, IT design, pre-sales engineering, and just pretty much course development. He's now working in areas of volunteer roles such as portal training, giving talks on fraud protection that we all could benefit from. Conversations about fraud protection, right, and fraud prevention, and staying in your home as you get older. And he also spends most of his time inviting volunteers into leadership. So he's doing a lot in his community through Toastmasters. He runs a Toastmasters, and it's a great platform that everybody can benefit from. So without further ado, our guest, can we welcome Mr. Rob Alexander to the stage?
Here he is.
Brother Rob.
All right, I see the drum roll. Let's give him
another drum roll while he's on. Let's give him another one.
Double. Okay, bam, wham.
Bam. That's what we're talking about.
All right. Thank you for the honor, right? To say, I'm feeling the drums. I'm feeling the beat. Yes.
Welcome.
Welcome, Rob. It's a pleasure having you on.
No problem.
Man, you know, it's an interesting way how we met, right?
Yes. When you were doing you're honoring various people who you were thought had done things in the community. One of those people said, hey, I was her mentor. That was Lloyd Chambers. And so she invited me to come. And so while there, I heard about some of the things that you were doing, in particular in Africa, building indoor plumbing and things of that nature. And so we didn't really have a chance to talk that day. But I said, hey, I wanted to maybe catch up with you and find out more about what you were doing and how I can get involved. And likewise, we've had several conversations since then. And because of that, I said, well, maybe there's still some opportunities going forth. So we're just chatting, still trying to figure out where I can fit in, if I can fit in, how I can fit in, but definitely enjoy the opportunity to come on this platform.
Awesome. Rob, if you can you share with our viewers, tell us about Rob. Who's Rob? We did say a few things. One did share some things in the bio, but bring us up to date. Who's Rob?
Well, I'm a widower. I lost my wife probably about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. I'm mainly a volunteer. And I volunteer with a men's organization. I volunteer with AARP. I volunteer with my church. I volunteer in my Toastmasters club, and volunteer in my family. We have a family reunion. We've been doing this for 55 years, and so we planning on having a major celebration in August. So that's really, I can say, about the crux of it. I have 2 kids, several grandkids, and yes. And my relationship with them, I'm not as great as I want it to be, but I want it to be even better than what it is now. So I've actually do have conversations with both my kids and grandkids. And so I know I'm on the right road as far as that is concerned.
Awesome. Gentlemen, just open it up to if you have questions for Robert. I know you do. You've seen his bio. Just dig into the bio, ask him specific questions about what you're seeing there. He's done a lot.
In seeing everything, and I know I can learn your part when I read the portion on Toastmasters, because I tell a lot of people, and Juan led up to it, it is a very important organization. Like, how did you, because you seem so fluent with your speaking, you seem like this is your thing. Like, this is my lane, this is my avenue. How did you come to find Toastmasters, and what role do you play in it?
Well, how I came to find this role, or find Toastmasters in general, is I had to give a presentation to like a department head. And this was when I was very new in my career. And I bombed. And I was and I says, oh, I have to do better than this. And for that, that was started me on my search. Because hey, I knew that that is not the way I want to be perceived. Everybody else, I won't say were fluent, but they were able to tell their story. But for me, it was like I got, marbles in my mouth. It was like and starting to sweat. I mean, I was like, let me sit down. I really was like that. It was that bad for sure. That bad for sure. And since then, I'm at the highest level of Toastmasters. They call a distinguished Toastmaster. And so I've actually achieved that award, and which means I've actually been a variety of different levels. In the club level, I've been everything. I've been president and vice president of education and membership and sergeant at arms. But also in the district level, I was been an area governor. I've been a club coach, club mentor, some other things of that nature too.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
He's done it. And earlier we had a conversation about Toastmaster, right? And who was it that said that they're going to be joining Toastmaster or get involved? Was it you, Juan?
Yes.
That you were going to get involved with Toastmaster. And it's interesting. It's through my involvement with Toastmaster that I met Lois Chambers, who is Rob is our mentor, and that's how we actually connected. So you see how the connection work. Well, what I really appreciate about what Rob is saying, to say that it didn't work, I need to make improvements. What a powerful statement. Too many of us out there are not willing to admit that they didn't get it right. And if you're not willing to admit that you're off, how can you become better, right? You wrong?
Yeah, and one thing I want to say is, and no matter what level that you achieve, even if you're an entrepreneur, you should always have a coach.
Absolutely.
You should have a coach, whether or not you're just starting out. If you're just starting out, writing programs, designing computers or computer interfaces or whatever else it may be, that you should have a coach and say, just to pass it by, am I working this right? And there's different aspects. One is just the technical aspects of doing the job, but the other aspects of that is the emotional intelligence aspect. Hey, if someone comes at you, quote unquote, wrong, how do you deal with that situation? In this day and age, we're here the term microaggression. How do you deal with someone that put down? What do you do then? How do you deal with it? How does that really impact you? First of all, is how do you interact with the other person and let the other person know, hey, that's not going to play here. But the other aspect of that is internally, what do you do so it won't necessarily affect you emotionally and it gets you off of your game?
So, we've been talking about mentoring, being a mentor and be a mentee as well. That is so important. None of us know so much that we cannot be a mentee, right?
Right.
In fact, I think it's a great place to find yourself. Great place.
I totally agree with that. I think we all need to have someone, because we don't know what we don't know.
Right.
I say that all the time. Yes.
Don't know.
Yes.
We need to put that up on the screen. We don't know what we don't know. and that's real talk right there. Real talk. Gentlemen, let's open up the floor and ask the questions. Let's tap into that short bio that we have and just use that as for the questions.
Well, so what? So okay, I'm 22 right now. I'm just out of college and getting into the real world, you could say, even though I've been in it. But what advice would you give to 22-year-old self? What advice would you give to yourself if you were 22 years old again? Yeah.
Well, I graduated from an HBCU, Tennessee State University up in Nashville, Tennessee. Okay. Yeah, and so one of the things that we had a program several years ago where several of us who graduated back in the day. By the way, I have a background in electrical engineering, but what we did is that we gave a mentoring program to graduating seniors and to grad students. And part of that it was like a 5-6 week program. The first thing is knowing what your strengths are, what you want to do. The second thing was finding out the companies where you potentially may offer those skills. And then likewise, finding out how to get engaged with those companies. Mm. And the other aspect of that is knowing where you want to go in your career. I think that's probably the biggest thing. Do you want to remain technical? Do you want to be more of a business-oriented type person? Or where do you want to really go? Yeah. And then likewise, make sure that you find that you have a path. And then once you get inside that company, try to find that mentor. So, and you can have more than one mentor. Just don't think you only need to have only one mentor, because you may have a mentor, maybe one helping with your financial goals, whatever. Another one helping you with your technical skills. Another one helping you with your, relationships or whatever.
Great advice.
Good. Takeaway: get multiple mentors. You have different needs, different areas you need to grow in. It's not a one size fit all.
Yeah.
All right. Very important.
Yeah. I would say one thing else about that, Doc, and that is that you have to realize, hey, that most of the training that you have is only going to be valid for maybe 5 to 7 years. Yeah. And so you always have to continue growing. Continue to grow. I mean, in this day and age, I think everyone needs to know what Python is. Everyone needs to know a little bit about AI and Chat GPT and all the other platforms. And if you're not, I think you're doing yourself a disservice.
I recall in, was it 2009, 10, 11, I was doing a degree in computer networking. And I recall Cisco computer networking. And you all know who Cisco is, right? The company Cisco. Yeah. And I recall the chairman, the president of Cisco, saying that in a couple of years, you won't recognize how we communicate. And boy, was he telling the truth? He said, in a few years from now, you won't recognize how we communicate. And look, Rob talked about, don't let innovation slip away without you tapping into it. Right. It's here. Apply yourself to it. Get from it what leverage. The word is to leverage innovation. Mm-hmm. Right. Get what you need from it.
And I would say one more thing in that same regards, Doc, and that is you can be in front of the train, or you can be behind the train. You can be run over by the train. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people talking about, I'm going to lose my job. And yes, a lot of people will lose their jobs going forward as far as the technology is concerned, or whatever the new technology is. But there are going to be a whole lot of other jobs that will be created. Mm-hmm. So I think you're talking about what can you do as a graduate. is like, I don't know, something called a mind map. I don't know if you ever did a mind map. Just talk, saying wherever you are, and then talk about what things out there, where technology, the direction of the country, environmental, political, everything, and then say, okay, where do you think the company, the world is going, your company is going, you are going, and how can I map to make sure that I'm ahead of the pace?
So in our book, Unearthing You, Your Guide to Self-Discovery and Growth, there is a mind map in that book. So I'm talking to our viewers now. Go out there and get that book, Unearthing You, Your Guide to Self-Discovery and Personal Growth. We have, I don't recall how many chapters, but each chapter is an exercise that will really pull you out of you. And one of the chapters is we use a mind map to assist you. And why is that book so important as well? I'm going to divert a little bit, but each book purchase on a collisionwithpurpose.com website, $5 will go towards a scholarship fund, or the Collision with Purpose Scholarship Fund. So if you buy the book from us, you're not only supporting us or the sale of the book, but you're also supporting a student somewhere. And I believe that's a big deal. Yeah. That's a big deal. So, Rob, I'm glad you mentioned about the mind map, and it just jogged that. You just brought it out of me, and thank you for that. All right, more questions for Rob, please.
I would ask Rob. You clearly, you appear to be, a young man. I'd say you're not a day over 43. So
the man got jokes.
I agree. Yeah, I think not a day over 35. What about that?
Black. I'm praying one day. Black don't crack. I'm praying to get that consistent. But the question I would ask, so like this year, my father will be 74 years old, and he's one of those people who constantly, gotta work after, starting to work at 12, 13 years old. I'm like, you've been working 60 years of your life, like, just relax. And even in retirement, he's like, well, I want to find work. And I'm like, you're trading your body, like, you don't have to do this. So now, with respect to not just the mentoring, but because really I think what we're talking about is upskilling. How do you approach someone, those of us who work with those who younger, who do work with some of the OGs or the seniors of us? How do you assist them or guide them with upskilling to kind of say, hey, look, you don't want to get lost behind the curve, you kind of want to stay ahead of it? What's the approach? What are the conversations that get had to even introduce them to that?
Well, first of all, I want to say congratulations to your dad, who still wants to take care of himself,
right,
and still wants to make a contribution. His work a lot of times people have to work because they need to have to earn money, and so you see people at Walmart, and then they should probably be home, but they're there because, hey, they need to earn the money, or they need to earn be there long enough so they can get the medical benefits. And that's a whole different issue that we need to probably address in this country. Far as actually getting the skills set so that they can actually be a valuable contributor. I would actually do the same thing as we talked about before. And maybe there's a site called Udemy, UDEEMY.com. They have courses that you can take. They can be very elementary to very advanced classes, and they always have sales. And you can get almost any of those classes for, under $20. Even the class which $200. If you wait long enough, you can get it for like $20. So if you have a particular topic, you want to learn photography or digital transformation or Python or whatever else the skill set that you want to learn, that would be an easy way to do that. I would say also go to your local college, your local community college, And a lot of times they have programs too, very reasonable in price, and you can actually get certified. So maybe the thing to do, as opposed to quote unquote going back and get a degree, is just get a certification in a particular area.
Right.
And you can do that probably, 1 or 2 classes, maybe 6 months or so, and maybe you're certified to train or do in a particular area.
Nice. Good to know. Good to know. Yeah, he don't need the money. He just got to do.
Right. Well, I understand, and that's me too. That's me
Right.
too, and that's the reason I'm so involved in a variety of different things.
Makes sense. Thank you. Greatly appreciate it.
My question is, in your bio, you talk about staying in your home longer. What is that all about?
Well, most of us, if you bought a house and the house is not retrofitted, in case you need to, as you get older, you maybe not be able to walk upstairs, or you may need a walker, or you may need a wheelchair. And so what you want to do is maybe put all your living area on one floor, or you make sure all the entrances are wide enough so you can get a walker or wheelchair through them. Or if you have appliances, that you have all the knobs on the front of the knob as opposed to the back or the side of your stove or whatever else it may be. Same way if you have a shower, you want to make sure that the shower is walk-in. So in other words, to be able to, as opposed to trying to lift your legs up and over the traditional tub, that could be dangerous as a person get older. So all those things, where you put your light switches, where you put the lights, all those things. So you want to retrofit your home so you can stay in your home as long as possible. Because the longer you stay in your home, the cheaper it is. And for most people, actually a better quality of care or living, being able to stay in their home as opposed to going to a nursing home or something like that, or assisted living facility.
And how important is that, right?
Oh, for sure.
How important is that?
I know you got a lot of youngins over here, so they probably don't even know what we were talking about. So.
No. I mean, realistically, that makes a lot of sense because despite us being young, like I said, the prayer is to get there. The victory is in. I see the salt and pepper on you and Doc, and I tell people, that's my father.
You don't see any pepper on me.
All the salt.
There is no pepper. It's all salt.
But no, that's the salt. That's all salt. But that's the victory. Being able to make it to that point, not just do it, but still be able to be in a space like this and take the wealth of knowledge that you've accrued over the years and give it away freely. Like that's the victory, So we're all ears because I'm thinking, like, I'm not thinking super that far ahead, but I'll remember this conversation. I need to retrofit this tub so I can make sure.
Right. And that's the thing is, if you start it, and you don't have to do it all in one fell swoop. But I mean, if you start early enough, then you won't necessarily have to spend $50,000, $100,000 to retrofit your home.
Yeah.
Right.
So
not just trying to move, like, considering ourselves, getting older, but even just taking in this tool kit that we're getting from, Mr. Alexander, just learning these things, because our parents, will be getting older, and then some of us still have grandparents. My grandmother will be 84 this year, and so she's being assisted, by my mom and her siblings. So this is good information to have. Just their whole retrofit. That's my first time hearing it. So to take that into consideration and learn it now, to be able to apply it when the time is necessary, or to start doing it now and build up to it, so you're not doing it all at once.
Well, let me give a shout out to AARP, and so go to aarp.org/homefit, HOMEFIT, and then you'll see a lot of different pamphlets and things like this that you can download, and you can see, what things you can do. Some of them are very cheap, like putting tape on your, if you have on your floors. I mean, on your carpets, so they won't be a hazard for slipping. Those type of the small things like that. You know, you can buy a tape for $5, $10 or whatever.
Well, gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break, but we'll stay on screen. We'll stay on screen. And as most of you know who are watching us and listening to us, A Collision with Purpose is going to Kenya in September. And our producer and CFO of A Collision with Purpose and everything, and host of In the Spotlight, she's going to address us and say something. So I'm going to play a video while we're on screen. So let's just listen to her carefully, all right?
Last year, I had the opportunity to travel on a mission trip to Africa, specifically the country of Kenya. If it was not for your donations and you supporting me on this trip, the many initiatives that was successful would not have been possible. So for that, I greatly appreciate you and I thank you very much. However, from my experience on this trip, which was life-changing for me, in such a way that a charge was placed on my heart to go back to Kenya. My experience brought me face to face with the everyday challenges that people face. Families not being able to feed their children, not send their children to school, and not being able to supply just basic hygiene needs for their children. Yes, the needs are vastly great and challenging, and it's difficult to meet them all. But with that said, I am returning to Kenya once again in September of 2024 with Hope and Destiny Foundation in Kenya. We will be having our Reaching Out, Reaching Up Community Outreach Initiative. This initiative, once again, it will help with providing sanitary towels for the girls, school supplies, and even a clothing drive, along with food items for the community. And once again, I am asking you to help us to achieve our goals. This year, Reaching Out, Reaching Up will allow us to begin working on building and creating sustainable opportunities for the communities. So with that, I leave you with one act of kindness may change a person's life forever. One life, one village, one town, one county, one country. At a time, we will help the less fortunate to help themselves. And so once again, I thank you for your support.
All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. That was our she always introduces herself as none other than Donna. I want to have her pop on because she on stage because she will very likely she'll have a question for Rob and we want to get her insight in this conversation. So we're not going to give her a drum roll though. We'll only do the drum roll for our special.
What? Now she don't get the drum roll on the second
regular. I'm gonna give her the drum roll this time around. So here is Donna.
Oh my goodness. Hello, Mr. Alexander. Welcome.
Hello, how you doing?
I am great. Thank you. I'm just enjoying listening to you.
All right, thank you.
What would you like me to say, Doc?
Any questions for you've been listening to the conversation? I know you have something you want to ask, Mr. Alexander.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
There was something you said in the beginning that kind of caught my attention, right? I commend you for all your accomplishments and all the work that you have done, right? But there was something that you said in reference to building a better relationship with your children and grandchildren.
Mm.
And was there like a time where you were so focused on all this work that you were doing that at some point did you miss out on time, that quality time? And how would, and what advice would you give someone who is, we're focused on working, right, and building our community, and not necessarily seeing the dynamics of what's happening in our home?
I think that's a very valid point of where, yes, a person could be so focused on working. And I know that as a project manager, as a project engineer back in the day, I was traveling. I would get up, go to the Atlanta airport almost every Monday. First flight out Monday morning, fly to wherever it needs to go. And I'll come back either Thursday night or sometime Friday. And I'll be home just long enough to change out my clothes, do whatever task, pay a few bills, and then I start the whole thing again on Monday. I know I was able to take my kids with me on a couple of the trips, but was that enough? Don't know for sure. But I do think, I think you have to actually go ahead and try to make sure that you be involved with your kids. I do know for my youngest son, I know that I left him here. He was actually 16. And so he was a good kid, but more or less from 16 to probably the time he graduated from high school, I would say he more or less raised himself. Mm-hmm. The truth be told. And so I think I had to reestablishing a lot of that relationship again, for sure.
That's deep.
Powerful.
Good stuff.
Thank you for answering that.
Yeah. And to recognize the gap. You recognize the gap. I'm sure that requires some serious self-reflection.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Hey, folks, if you're listening, introspection, self-reflection, just powerful. They're not just concepts. They're real life stuff. So don't be afraid to take a look within and understand who you are. Because just like Rob did, he clearly recognized that there's some opportunities missed. And here he is now, and he's made that a priority at this stage of his life. So that's huge. That's huge.
Right.
Big takeaway.
I love it, specifically, how we started this month, and a lot of, we were gearing it towards fatherhood, him even bringing that up, and that perspective, that ownership of knowing, like, I missed this, like, to even be able to do that. Like, at what point did that hit you? Was it in the moment, or was it years later? Because I speak from it as a father of many, as a father of many, but my older children live out of state. So even maintaining that connection, like, I'm thankful that they engage with their sister, and like it's seamless to them. But I've learned, even through divorce, I'm like, it's not the kids, it's really the adults are the problem.
Right.
But even in that, when did you realize it, or was it immediate, or years down the road where you like, okay, I zigged when I should have zagged. I messed up there.
I think I want to back up a second and say that my dad never told me he loved me. I was a grown man. I probably was in my 40s before, and I actually had to tell him I loved him first before he could even tell me that he loved me at all. And so I think the reason I'm telling you that part is because I think at least I did know enough to say, okay, I tell my kids I love them even when they were kids. and I appreciate them. I love them. Thank you for being my son. That type of thing. As far as the answer your direct question, I believe it was later on where I said, because I thought he's okay, but now looking back over, so it was not immediate. So I think that was some time where I could say, hey, should have, even though he was quote unquote mature for his age and took care of himself, that type of thing. What did he miss out? What conversations should we have had as a father-son? Because that is a time where, you as a young man, you're trying to learn how to date, you're driving your car, you get into all type of social situations, and how do you handle yourself out there in the world? And don't know if we really had all those conversations that if I had to do it all over again, I probably would have now.
That's good. Thank you for that. Thank you.
And I really appreciate your honesty, because we need to be honest with ourselves, right?
It's candid.
We need to look in that mirror and just face ourselves head on, don't we?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we need to. We whatever it is that we're wearing that is clouding our vision, we need to just lose that thing. Just lose it in a hurry so we can see where we probably didn't get it as we should have. And I really appreciate that, Rob. You've really made the argument that we need to hear tonight. Because we're talking about building legacy. We've been talking about building legacy. We've been talking about our role as Black men.
Yep.
Right.
Not just men, but as Black men, because we're all Black on this platform, and our role. And many of us, not just here, did not get the opportunity to hear from our father, right? And get the direction and the examples, right? So we need to now be the ones who are setting that right. One, I think this is a great opportunity for you to jump in, because you're a man of experience. As young as you are, and I can say you're young, right? With all this what do you call it? What you said, salt?
Salt.
Yeah, all the salt.
But I will just kind of jump on what Doc said. I commend you to even be able to recognize that something needed to change. I love the saying that goes, nothing changes if nothing changes, and so to take that role, because I'll speak personally, and I share my story all the time, but it's a challenge at times when being the child, right, or the son, and you are aware of the things that you need or you want, but you don't quite know how to communicate that to your father. And then when you do, because of, like you talked about, the estrangement between your dad and your granddad, he doesn't really have the tools or know how to communicate the way you would need him to. So then you're trying to figure out what manhood should look and feel and sound like, because you don't really have that example in front of you, even though you're watching your father from a distance. From my experience, oftentimes what I would try to bring that to his attention, it would come off offensive. I can imagine sometimes it's kind of hard as a parent to hear your child say, you didn't do it right, I didn't appreciate this, or you could have done better. So oftentimes I would see, him get defensive. But I commend you for being able to recognize it, and you take the initiative, because it's not always so. It's not always the parent who decides to turn it around. It's always the child having to come and say, hey, I need you to hear this. I need you to hear me out. And then the parent might consider it or try to, just really think through that process. But I think that's big, you sharing that. So my question is this, like what I know you said there's something that you're still working on. What initiatives or efforts do you make to ensure that you're talking to them regularly, or just checking in? Like, what do you do just to make sure that you stay connected or get connected, reconnected?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, you have to be intentional. And I think the intentionality means, hey, that I know it sounds like, you have to put them on the calendar. And people say, oh, just like if you're in a relationship with someone, you have to say, okay, even though it seems like okay, you have to put me on the calendar and say we're going to have a date on Friday or Saturday or something every week. Yes, you got to do the same thing with your kids and grandkids, especially if it's not something that just happens automatically. And to say, I'm going to call them at least once a week or once or whatever it is for you. And just say, okay, Saturday morning, I'm going to call the grandkid or my kid or something like that. So I think that's the first thing. And the second thing is you have to make yourself available. And that is you have to reach out and say, let's hook up. Let's do some things together. I know probably about maybe 2 or 3 months ago, maybe 2 months ago, I was able to take one of my sons and both my grandsons and my granddaughter out. We all went out and we did like putt golf or whatever it was. It was putt golf. So, but that was orchestrating that event to make it happen. Yeah. And then once we got it in motion, someone else took it over. And so, but it was, I was the one to say, hey, we have to do something.
Mm. Wow.
How, if I can ask this, how important is it? I would say it is. How important is it to have, I guess that, because Augusta often talks about this healthy relationship that he has with his dad, his father, right? How important is that to have a connection with your dad, or to hear from your dad, to be able to stay connected and talk to and communicate? How important is that? Young men, young women, just anybody. It doesn't have to be a child. It can be from child to adulthood. Like, how important is that connection, that attachment?
Well, I think as Black men, I think a reason we have a lot of, and this is my personal belief, I have no statistics, but I believe a lot of Black men, young Black men are in trouble with the law, and and really are not part of our society, is because they don't have a connection. They don't have the guidance. They don't have the support. Mm-hmm. And they are really more or less, they're using only their peers as their support system, their guidance system, and whatever else. And they don't have any these gray-haired guys or Black and salt and pepper guys to give them any thoughts, or say, hey, maybe you could do this something a little bit different this way.
Just maybe, right?
Just maybe.
Just maybe. And I know we have our Xavier. I think this is a great opportunity for you to jump in this conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just soaking everything in. I always get lost in the podcast and everything with this, but powerful for you to even attempt to tell your dad that you loved him first, especially at the age that you said that, because anybody could have just, said, to heck with it, I'm not going to do it. They're at a certain age, he's at a certain age, and
right.
Bad habits are not always easy to fix, and sometimes it's easier to just keep the bad habits, and I commend you for doing that. But what was going through your head when, like, your dad actually said, I love you back? Like, what could you explain the emotion that you were feeling when that happened, or go into detail with that?
Yeah, he didn't tell me right then when I told him he loved me. It took a while. In fact, I was not expecting anything back. It wasn't like, I love you back too, son, anything like that. It was like maybe 3 months, 6 months, or maybe, I don't even know exactly when it actually happened. And by the way, since someone told me I was only 43 now, so that was only like 3 years ago.
Who was so generous? Who was so generous?
But on a serious note, It wasn't that immediate, and so when it actually happened, I was shocked, and I was elated. So I was shocked. It's like getting blown over with a feather. That's how it was. Like, so it came out of nowhere. It's okay.
He knocked you out. Huh? He floored you.
Knocked me out with a feather.
So let me ask this, just to, what did it do for you to tell your dad that? Not to hear that from him, but when you make the decision to tell him, what did it do for you when you released it, when you said it?
Well, I think part of what it did for me was it was because we had several conversations during that time. So it gave me a chance to learn how to be more authentic. And it gave me a chance to learn how to be more vulnerable. And I think as Black men, we need to, one of the things is we keep a lot of things inside of us. And so, but for me, it was just a chance to say, hey, what I really was feeling at that point in time.
You talk about keeping things in, and just want to jump in here with my experience going to Africa, right? Talk about vulnerability and being authentic. It is next. It's almost like a sin for a man in Kenya to show any sign of weakness. It's a major. I'm okay. I'm good, even when they're falling apart. And especially if they're going to show that weakness to the person they spend the most of their time with, their wife. Can you imagine living in a place, not necessarily in Africa, but in that space where you can show your authentic self and be you? So you have it all bottled up. Can you imagine that explosion when it comes out? And that came to me as Rob talked about being authentic and just show that you have feelings, right? And how difficult it is for Black men in this country. So maybe we got it from our ancestors in Africa.
Right. Could be. I do know that one thing, and that is the only feeling that we are allowed to show, with gusto, is anger. So we're able to say, you touched me, you did something, whatever. And so we'll take a slight and we'll blow up over some slight, which really is not really should be even worth the while. But we're not able to show that, hey, I'm hurt, I'm sad, I'm lonely, I'm frustrated, I love, I care, I appreciate all those other types of feelings. We're not able to show or tell that.
It's interesting. I remember when we had that discussion, Doc, and he was talking about when you asked him that question about not being able to be vulnerable, in his culture. And I think we go through the same cycles and same patterns here. What came to mind, I don't know how many, even our audience, have heard the song "Mask Off."
Future.
Which yeah. My future is my future. It's one of my honestly, it's one of my favorite songs. I'm a person that falls in love with music based on the lyrics and and all of that. But long short of it, Future talks about, it's called Mask Off, and he's talking about Percocets, Molly, just drugs and stuff that he takes. And the song is pretty much about not being able just to be myself. So I have to put a mask on. In my culture, in my family, in the industry, I can't be vulnerable. I can't look soft. So I got to put the mask back on. But if I put the mask on, then I find myself taking these Percocets, taking these Mollies, taking these drugs to self-medicate just to get myself through. So you know what? Let me take the mask off. So it's like that struggle with trying to find that place, that healthy place, if it exists, of just like you said, being authentic. Not, even in your own household or your own family or your own community and culture,
right?
Trying to find the assurance or the reassurance that it's okay to just be you, man. You know, black man, you are enough. Black man, you are
That
okay.
is, yeah.
It's okay to just be you. You don't have to put the mask on. You know,
What,
that
what is
song when we were talking about that.
what a display of strength when you can own those things about
Yeah.
you, right? When you can
Right.
say, I am hurting, I'm in pain, right? So, you know, again, I just want to remind our viewers that we're bridging generations, voices of men in a changing world. And aren't we living in a changing world, right? And our special guest today is Mr. Robert Alexander. We call him Rob. You know, don't you all just go out there and call him Rob, right? It's Mr. Alex.
It's like you don't know him.
You don't know him.
You don't know me like that.
You can call me Rob. You can
That
call
salt
me
and
Rob.
pepper came with a price. That salt and pepper
You
came
can call me
with a price.
Rob.
Let's call him Rob. Let's call him Rob. Anyway, so that was supposed to be a lame joke, right? So we're talking to Rob, and you know, of course, loads of experience, loads of knowledge. He's been there, he's lived it, and he's sharing with us. And man, aren't we getting some nuggets from him, right? Aren't we? So Donna, what else do you want to ask Mr. Alexander? Rob.
And by the way, what I want to say is this conversation is not, I don't want to necessarily say, oh, I have all the answers or whatever else, but I like the ways the conversation is becoming more free flowing. And so that it's not just Rob having the answers, because I may not have the answers or whatever. I will tell you my life experiences and my thoughts and what my beliefs are. But yes, so I think we all can participate in this discussion here.
And if you're listening or watching and you have a question, just type it in the chat. If you have a question for Rob or anyone on the panel, just type it in the chat, and I know we'll attempt to give an answer to the best of our ability. So Donna, we cut you off there. Can you jump in?
Okay. I don't really necessarily have a question, but I definitely commend you for the path that you are on with your children, and for several reasons. Yes, for yourself, but also for them and their growth and their understanding of who their father, who their dad is, and that will help them along the way. And the reason why I'm saying that, just to give you a little bit of background, I kind of share some of your sentiments in the sense of a relationship with my father. I knew my father, all that good stuff. I've never heard my father said, I love you. And we could have conversations, dialogues like we were friends, but it was never that emotional type of a relationship to share those things. And my father left this world without him saying, I love you, and me saying, I love you back. And I think in the end, I knew that he did because of how he transitioned, right? The way he transitioned and all that good stuff. At that point, I realized that he did and he was not able to. And it goes back to like exactly what you were saying, Mr. Alexander, is I had to come to realize the way he was raised, he never got that. And because he didn't get that, he didn't know how to pass that down.
Mm-hmm.
And so it took maturity, of course, to be able to realize that and to understand that and to be able to forgive and to come to terms with that. However, I am happy that you are in that place where you guys are able to build that, because I think one of the hardest things in life is when your parent have worked hard, you leave all these things behind, but the relationships that you leave behind are damaged, because then the people who are left behind have to deal with that, whatever it is, right? So definitely commend you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And that was just a statement, not a question.
Thank you for that, Donna, because what you just said is not unique. It's your experience, but I venture to guess that there's so many of folks viewing this broadcast or will watch it on the replay or at some point that will share the same sentiments.
Mm.
Yeah.
Not unique. It's unfortunate, but it's not unique. And I believe one of the reasons why we have this platform is to try our best to not have that repeat in our lives.
Right.
Yeah.
We are here to share our story and with the hope. It is our intent that someone will be out there hearing and say, I am gonna course correction. I'm gonna make sure that is not my story.
Yeah.
And that's the part of, well, that's one of the reasons why we have this rare platform here. Yeah.
Yeah, I like to use the word, you lose the phrase, let's break the cycle.
Absolutely.
Let's do something new.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have to continue to doing the same thing that mom and daddy did to us, and that we can do something different with our with our kids, our family, our siblings, whoever. And not necessarily just with your kids, but also with your siblings and your friends or whatever.
Absolutely. What was the first program for the first month? What was the title of our the topic?
When we from this month or from
First month we launched this program.
shedding
shackles.
Shedding shackles.
And that is one of the shackles.
Yeah.
Breaking cycles and changing things. And that's exactly what Rob said. He used different words, but that's exactly what we're doing. Whatever it is that is holding us back, that is keeping us trapped and locked in, it is our responsibility. We are now the leaders in our family, in our community, in our life. Take charge of that, and we must act accordingly as leaders. Yes. And that's what we're doing here in this platform. And that's why we will say, Rob, that whatever you're sharing with us, it is so much in alignment with what we believe on this platform. Well, and you're just saying exactly what we like to hear, and what is promoting our message with a collision with purpose. For our message with a collision with purpose is to empower people, no matter where they are in this world. It's a global movement, and it's all about lifting each other up.
Yeah.
And that's what our platform is about, right, gentlemen and Donna?
Lifting as we climb.
True.
So powerful stuff. We're coming close. Oh wow, there's so much to talk about, so much more to talk about. The one thing I would like is to get a commitment from Rob that he will come back on and have another conversation with us.
Sure. And the thing is, we started out one way and ended up another. So who knows if I come back, where we'll end up again. So it'd be my pleasure to come back.
And that's the beauty in it all, right? We're flowing, and we're following the conversation because it's so important. But wherever it's taking us to a good place, isn't it?
Yeah. So, I definitely agree, and I like the fact that say I didn't, and I'm just like speaking from my own personal experiences and speaking from my heart. But but the fact is that you said, hey, that I'm in alignment with a lot of things that you believe and what you stated and some of the programs that you had in the past. So that really is like, okay, maybe I should keep on doing the thing because again, as I mentioned, I don't have all the answers, and I'm still trying to figure out the best way to do things.
Aren't we all?
Amen.
Aren't we all? The moment you believe you got it is the moment you lost it. The moment you believe you're it, it's the moment you lost it, right? So we're at the point now. We have a thing what we call closing arguments, and we'll go around the room. We call this bonfire here. So who wants to go first for their closing argument? Can we volunteer?
Oh man, I'll go. From out of this conversation, just it is possible. You know, it is possible. Brother Rob here has showed you, you know, with work, with diligence, you know, you never know too much. Just continue to work. I'll quote a great philosopher who can show you what can be achieved from food stamps to a whole nother domain. Out of the bottom, I'm the living proof. Ain't compromising. End up in $1 million coop. Anything is possible and achievable if you put forth the work and the effort. That's Juan's favorite rapper. That's a quote from Future. So yeah, but it's the quote is the quote lines up with having the ability to look down from the standpoint of victory from where you started and working your way up. So it's achievable. Put your mind to it. Find your purpose. Just go to work, man. You got brothers like Rob here who are wealth of information who can help you along the way.
I truly second that. Everything you said. All right, thank you, Augusta. Who we gonna do next? Xavier, you look like you're ready to jump in. Dive in.
All right. But yeah, there was a lot of powerful quotes and sayings that went on in this episode for today. But what really stuck out to me the most was you don't know what you don't know. And to further go on with that, once you know what you know now, you got to do something about it to fix it and break the cycles to keep it going. So you got to always, like as Mr. Rob said, you always have to have mentors. You have to keep growing and keep with the consistent change, because just because you broke that one cycle doesn't mean there's other cycles down the line going on that you still need to fix. It's an ongoing process, but just stay true to it, persevere through everything that you have, and it's going to work out.
A process indeed, right?
Yeah.
And we should be so thankful that it is.
Yeah.
We should be grateful that it is a process, right? Because it's through that process that we truly grow and become just a little bit better day by day. Right. So who's gonna go next?
I can jump in there. So just thinking about everything we talked about earlier, the song that came to mind was I always tell people my life's a musical, but the song that came to mind was Man in the Mirror. He said, I'm talking to the man in the mirror, I'm asking him to change his ways. And no message could have been any clearer. You know, if you want to make a change, a world a better place, take a look at yourself and make the change. And I think that's just the common theme just from this conversation, that it's possible. Change is possible. But nothing changes if nothing changes, you know. So do your work, you know, make it. I think from all of this, even listening to Mr. Alexander, it was having to make the conscious decision to break the cycles, right? So I think it's just time to make that decision to do something different and do the work.
Thank you so much. Man in the Mirror, huh?
Right.
Man in the Mirror.
That was a powerful song, but the words are still so relevant, right?
It starts with me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can jump in next, and I can say that I know this is a form of giving back, but I also received in the process of giving back. And I would say the thing is, you're never too old to learn, and you're never too old to give.
That's good.
That's so profound, right?
That's nice.
We always hear people say you're never too old to learn.
But not often they say you're too old to give.
Too old to give.
Yeah.
We need to, that needs to be documented somewhere. Donna.
My parting words to our audience and everyone here is that I charge you to go out and look at your loved one today and tell them, I love you. Tomorrow is promised to no one.
Amen.
Yeah. And in alignment with what Donna is saying, something happened in my circle recently, and of course I can't call names, but too often we're looking out to find an opportunity to help and to do some good, and that's great. Nothing is wrong with that. But we must also focus on those close to us, real near. And I say close to, I don't mean relatives, but living within the same proximity as you are. Because a lot of times we have friends and family members who are truly hurting and need us, but we're not focused there. We're focused on doing something elsewhere. I know we're doing a lot of work in Africa, in Jamaica, in Bulgaria, and in France and other places. But I'm here to say tonight that I learned a valuable lesson that right here in Atlanta, in Loganville, where I live, there's so much work. We need to focus on people, our friends here, because they also need us as we need them. We need them. So I'm saying that not just to us on the platform, wherever you're going to view this broadcast from, whether it's live or the replay, pay attention to your neighbors. Check on them. Check on their needs. They need more likely than not, they need you. And it could be just a hug, a word, or whatever. Reach out to them. Connect with them. Talk to people in the house that you live in. Yeah. And I want to close by saying, you know, as one of the more senior person, I don't want to say old, one of the more senior person on this chat. You know, it's you. Life is just beginning. Your best life is today. The very moment that you're occupying, this is your best life. Seek to do the most that you can do today. Whatever you did in the past was great, but guess what? You have so much more you can do today. And it's always going to be today, because tomorrow will be today. So focus on today. Focus on what you have within you to give today. And your life will be better for it. And not just that. If you will be building a community that will serve those that come after you and follow you. And that's the essence, the true essence of what we call purpose personified. It's to live your purpose in such a way that it's not only just benefiting you, but it's benefiting others. More specifically, your community. And that's what it's all about. That's what we're all about here on this spot, on this platform, and in general, a collision with purpose. It's to lift, empower, and show each other what we can show them, so that they too can realize what their true purpose is in life. So I am gonna say good night to our viewers. Donna, can you take us out with some nice music or something? And let me say before we go, I did not say this. I want to say thank you to Rob for joining us today and for sharing with us. And all that you shared is well received.
Absolutely.
Amen.
I know you say you don't know everything, and we know you don't, but what you shared was a lot and enough.
Yes.
Sometimes don't take that one little thing, and you share more than one little thing for someone to effect change in another person. And you did just that tonight, and that's all we expect. And you gave it to us in true form, in the most authentic way that you can give it. So we're grateful and thankful and just humbled to have you on. And we'll be talking.
All right.
We'll be talking. We have much to talk about.
All right.
All right. So Donna, can you take us out, please?
All righty.
Blessings from Jamaica. This is Sheila Topstar. Tonight I will be performing one of my latest singles, entitled Far. Yeah. Now, this song is a reflection of my life. However, I believe that this song can also be a reflection of your life. Enjoy. Far me I come from, and me know where me I go. Far me I come from, and me know where me I go. Me see the aim, me I navigate to success. Working smart, no rest. Me I see the progress. Want to achieve, so me give it my best. Me I do my thing now, what's no one else? Some of them must be thought they were my friends. Smile with me, but I meet them against them. Want to set up my life and my journey end. You know me, I am far. But as a winner, me no know about failure. Have to make it big, have to make it major. Stacking up the currency paper. Far me I come from, I me know where me I go. Far me I come from, I me know where me I go. Now last me way now, cause me know where me I go. Far me I come from, I me know where me I go. Me know me I go, cause me know me I come from. Where me I come from, dark like dungeon. Some say me not go nowhere, that's my assumption. But mine I kill them, so them brain function. Far me I come from, and I turn back. Overcome my struggles, me no want it come back. Judas them a fight me, mortal combat. Them full up of jealousy and judge and no love that. You know me I aim for top star cat, never fear no danger. Have to make it big, have to make it major. Stacking up the currency paper. Far me I come from, and me know where me I go. Far me I come from, and me know where me I go. Now last me way now, cause me know where me I go. Far me I come from, and me know where me I go. Learn a lot along the way. Sorry if me mark a dog, them bite anyways. Me know the pain me get betrayed. Me conquer emotion, use a spit and pave the way. Calm me mind and relax. Me nah go worry, a guide nah fear. Them set the goose, set the date and the chops. Trying to get me in a trouble with the cops still. You know me I am far, born as a winner, me don't know about failure. Have to make it big, have to make it major. Stacking up your currency paper. Far me I come from. Me know where me I go, and I tell you something I last me way now. Cause me know